Here's one of the latest interviews from Rock and Metal Revival. If you want to hear the whole show, go to rmrshow.com. From the brand new album from Cheap Trick called Bang, Zoom, Crazy, Hello. I love it. That's their new single called When I Wake Up Tomorrow, and we are fortunate enough to have on the show with us a member of Cheap Trick. And you know, Jerry, growing up here in the Wisconsin-Illinois state line,
I'd never heard of him before.
Yeah, exactly. We want to welcome Daxx-Nielson to the show. Welcome to the show, Dax.
Hey, guys. It's good to be here.
Hey, Dax, first off, we want to welcome you to Rock and Metal Revival and congratulate you on the release of the new album. It's great to see bands from that era of when Jerry and I were growing up still releasing actual new music.
Yeah, for
sure. Yeah. Thank you. It's just the first album that I will be on with Cheap Trick, and it's their first album released in 7 years. They had obviously some legal issues with ex-management, ex-members of the band that took up a lot of time, and we still play. The band still plays about 150 shows a year, so in between all that, you know, we found time to write and record an album.
Well, you know,
and it is awesome.
Well, you know, this first one kind of gives me, and I know this is a cliche because I've heard this a lot, but I think that David Bowie-ish kind of, I mean, Robin's voice a little different on this one.
Yeah, and there's no denying the influence there. But I mean, Robin, throughout the years, his nickname was, and still is, you know, the man of 1,000 voices.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Cheap Trick throughout their career have had ballads. They've had extremely heavy songs. You know, the Beatles had Yesterday, and they had Helter Skelter too. You know, same kind of thing.
Exactly.
And so this one, you know, I think people will be surprised when they find out who it is. It's a great, you know, in my opinion, it's a great song no matter what. And you hear it and go, wow, who sings that? And Cheap Trick, oh wow, no kidding. You know, I thought they were this kind of band, or I thought they were that kind of band. And I think Cheap Trick, a lot of people either think of The Flame or they think of Dream Police, or you know, different styles, different vibes. You know, they don't only do rock and roll. They don't only do pop. They don't only do ballads. So
exactly, and you know, now Dax, you've been, like you said, you've been with the band a little over 6 years now. How much involvement did you have in the writing process of this new album?
Quite a bit. I mean, it's a co-written album. I think, you know, every song has at least two of the band members on it. Everybody kind of brought in their ideas. I think I have songwriting credit in 5 or 6 songs out of the 11. You know, I was there in the studio the entire time, which, you know, a lot of times drummers come in and cut the tracks and then take off. Whereas I was in there to do, you know, just whether it was song ideas or just arrangements or just solidarity, you know, kind of hang out and just write the album together, work on it together.
Cool. Rumor is that you're related to someone in the band. Is that true?
Yeah. Robin Zander's my step-grandma's uncle's brother's cousin's sister's husband. So.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, you know.
Hey, now, Dax, you got to be pretty excited about the upcoming Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. And in our opinion, it was way long overdue. I mean, what's the vibe you get from the band about it? I mean, are they honored, or I mean, how do they feel about actually? Because some bands don't care about being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, I think the bands that say they don't care are, you know, either lying or they're so huge and they've been so huge forever that they feel like they deserved it. You know what I mean? I think Cheap Trick, it's a total honor for them. It's not guaranteed. You know, I think they've worked their buns off and have had a lot of accolades, but they've also had a lot of, you know, downturns and mid points in their life, and you know, it could have been anybody, but I think that the fact that they've influenced so many bands that are in the Hall of Fame already, or are going to be in the Hall of Fame someday, I think they're completely honored, and they would never say that, oh, it's just another day or it's just another thing. So.
You know, I know growing up here in the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, I've grown up as a fan of Cheap Trick, and it seems like the band always is on tour. And after that time, I saw you guys in November when you guys played at the Coronado, and it's the same energy as when I saw Cheap Trick open the time Metro Center in February of 1980. I mean, how do they do it?
Well, that was a funny show because we played in Omaha the night before.
Yeah.
And we had two options for flights because we had, it was it's an 8-hour drive and whatever. We had a 6 a.m. flight or we had a 2 p.m. flight, and Rick and I chose the 6 a.m. flight just because we live in Rockford and we wanted to get home and see our wives and whatnot. And then the rest of the other guys, well, we'll take the 2 o'clock. We'll land at 3 o'clock, no big deal. And then a huge snowstorm hit that day.
Exactly.
So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They ended up having their flights were canceled into O'Hare, so they had to book new flights into Midway, which, if anybody knows where Midway is, it's much farther and harder to get to from Rockford.
Oh, yeah.
So we had the option of either canceling the show or going on about an hour and a half late. And so we just obviously didn't want to cancel the show. So, for you to say the energy was still there was pretty amazing because they were traveling all day and got there late and, put on their stage clothes, warmed up, and we went out and played probably close to 2 hours.
Exactly.
And,
it was a great show.
Everybody stuck around, and everybody in the crowd was completely hammered because an extra hour and a half to drink booze. So
Well, and and it was lucky enough that your brother was the opening act, so he actually came back out and played longer.
yeah, he was supposed to play like a 40-minute set and ended up playing like an hour and 40-minute set.
Oh, nice.
I'd say for the most part, nobody gave him any trouble, but there were some hecklers, but that's fine. He did a great job, and he was humble about it, and he has plenty of music. He's a great songwriter himself, so his band took it upon themselves to fill in as long as they could.
They did a great job.
Well, that's cool. So,
Yeah, but
oh, go ahead.
going back to what you said, though, you say they're always on tour. People ask me, like, oh, when's your tour start? And I just say, it's always going.
It never stops.
we just play all the time. And, we play about 150 shows now, and I think the band used to play about 300 shows a year. So, just never come home. Just keep playing, so.
Yeah, so what was it like growing up with Rick? He was always out on tour. Did you get to go out on tour with him as you got older and stuff, or?
Yeah, like summer vacations from school. You'd probably go out for a week or two on the tour bus.
Yeah.
Which was strange, and it's kind of amazing at the same time. But the road's not a place, at least back then, for a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah,
So
imagine.
I saw some things and learned some things that most guys
haunt
don't
you.
learn until they're 20, 30.
Hey, Dax, the other night I saw you guys played Mike McCready's birthday party. I mean,
Yeah.
what's that like? You guys out there jamming with Pearl Jam?
Yeah, Cheap Trick's his favorite band. Going back to kind of what I said about the Hall of Fame
Yeah.
and bands they've influenced, Pearl Jam is maybe one of the biggest bands of all time. It still plays arenas around the world. Mm-hmm. And Mike McCready, if you actually watch him play live, he throws guitar picks and he jumps around and acts goofy, and it's like, oh, wait a second. I wonder who his favorite guitar player is. And sure enough, Rick's his idol, and he loves Cheap Trick. So for his 50th birthday party, his wife surprised him.
Nice.
The cat got out of the bag early. He found out early because I think he would have freaked out, and she knew that. So she told him. But, yeah, we went out, and we were the house band, and we played, and Eddie Vedder got up, and Matt Cameron sat in on drums on a track. Jeff Ament, I don't know if you have ever heard the song Jeremy by Pearl Jam, but that starts out with the dum ba dum bam. That's a 12-string guitar.
Oh, okay.
Tom Peterson from Cheap Trick invented.
12-string bass, right?
12-string bass, that's what I meant.
Yep.
So, I mean, the influence, if you look closely enough, Pearl Jam is highly influenced by Cheap Trick. And all those guys were up on stage, like, with their cell phones, taking selfies and video and, throwing guitar picks at the crowd and just acting like, teenagers again. It was pretty wild to see.
Speaking of bands that were influenced by Cheap Trick this past summer, you got to sit behind the kit in one of my favorite stadiums of all time at Wrigley Field, opening up for the Foo Fighters. I mean, what's it like playing at Wrigley? I mean, that had to be a great opportunity for you.
It was unbelievably surreal. I mean, I'm a Cubs fan. My wife's a Sox fan, but
you still married her?
It worked out. Well, we're better now, but they've won a World Series, so we can kind of both brag a little bit. So, I don't know, but anyways, playing there, it's unbelievable. First of all, playing a baseball stadium, and we're a club band, we're a theater band, and so to be able to play for 40,000 people, because that was actually the second year in a row that we played Wrigley. I think we're one of the only bands to ever open up twice for somebody at Wrigley.
Nice.
Probably the only band. The year before we opened up for Zach Brown Band.
Oh, okay.
And it was cool because it was a beautiful night, blue skies. You know, when we played, perfect weather. But it was the Zach Brown Band, and you know, I'm not necessarily schooled in their music. I don't really know. I'm not a huge fan necessarily.
Exactly.
But then the next year we played for the Foo Fighters, which, you know, Dave Grohl obviously is amazing, but it was completely pouring rain, like miserable, cold, and it was. So I'd say the experience of the Zach Brown Band was better, but the actual vibe of the Foo Fighters was better. So I mean, here I am complaining about playing, Wrigley Field twice. Which night was better?
Nice.
Let's just say it's one of the greatest things that has ever happened to me.
Nice. Well, we went. Me and Red actually went to the Rick's Picks Museum.
Right.
When your dad had the all his guitars and stuff there. I'm a big guitar guy. We were in a room with 12 guitars hanging on the wall and shit here. But is he any chance of him doing that again?
It's all ready to go. The thing about museums, which I didn't know, is that they kind of, it's like anything, they have to book ahead and schedule, and the slots are filled. So Rick's Picks, it was slated to do its run, and then a dinosaur exhibit was coming in, and it was coming in no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, so by that point, nobody had known that it was going to do as well as it did. It was just kind of a one-time run.
Yeah.
And so then it was too late to find another museum somewhere else and do all the promo. So all the displays are still ready to go, but they're just sitting somewhere waiting for a guy like you to make some phone calls.
Well, we might have to do that.
As soon as this interview is over, we're calling.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're making some calls.
That was really cool seeing all those cool guitars.
Yeah, it was great. And all the old tickets.
Yeah.
He keeps everything in pictures and.
I know, scraps of paper and shit with lyrics on them and stuff.
Yeah.
Damn.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Now, to be honest with you, Dax, you've got to have the best seat in the house every night. I mean, you get to see all the generations of fans enjoying Cheap Trick. I mean, like in the Rockford show, you had kids, you had people in their 60s, you people in their 40s. I mean, that's got to be a cool feeling knowing that Cheap Trick music, touches so many different generations.
Definitely. I mean, it's. I think they've had kind of a resurgence because the people that grew up listening to them now have kids, and that they're turned on to. And there's not a lot of great rock and roll around these days, so these kids are finding out about classic rock, and they're 12 years old, and this band came out 40 years ago. So it's that's like me going to see the Beatles when I was 10 years old or something. It's got to be unbelievable.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's really cool. I used to play for a guy named Dick Dale, surf guitar.
Oh, I've seen Dick Dale. He's badass.
Yeah.
He is badass.
He's still out there.
Left-handed.
He's like
plays
70.
upside down. Fucking crazy.
Yeah, and so same thing as that. It was like you'd look out and there'd be old guys and there'd be young rockabilly chicks, and it'd be just the coolest thing because music kind of bridges the gap. It doesn't matter how old you are anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the one question I got, it's serious too now. Have you ever thought of maybe throwing in some cowbell into like Surrender or I Want You to Want Me or something just to fuck with them?
Always. No, the cowbell's always ready. It's next to my floor tom. And
yeah, we got one ready here. We add it to everything. Yeah. We're like, no, that bit sucked. We need to add some cowbell.
Yeah. Go on, listen to what song is that? Hard Day's Night. The bridge of that. When I'm home, the cowbell is louder than Paul McCartney's voice. It's just the greatest.
Yeah,
ever.
Nice. Exactly. And in Wisconsin, it'll skyrocket you to number one.
Hell yeah.
Anytime you have a cowbell.
Yeah, we think of cheese. Perfect. Cheese flashes in your head as soon as you hear a cowbell.
My favorite thing, besides tacos, my favorite thing on the planet is spotted cow beer.
There you go. And I saw a picture of you on Facebook at some taco place out in L.A., and you're like, oh, my favorite place. And I'm thinking, wow, nice.
Yeah, well, I have some leftovers in my fridge. I stocked up when I got a burrito for there, and then I got 8 tacos to go, so I can snack on them throughout the week.
There you go.
All right, now Dax, you guys, we want to let everybody know you got some cool pre-orders. This album is coming out this Friday, so people need to get on this. And I mean, you guys got some great items.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah, I think we took a lot of time. We went down to Nashville, where our management is now, and we signed a lot of guitars and a lot of posters and a lot of CD cases, and I'm glad that people can have those.
That was speaking of Nashville. That's where I met Robin and Tom for the first time. I was standing outside in Tootsie's, and
kidding.
Yeah, Robin's walking down the street. I'm like, "Is that what? Wait." And I'm like, Robin. He's like, yeah. He goes, just looking for songs. I'm like, oh, that's too cool.
Yeah.
Well, you guys now I see you guys go out. You kick off the tour, or I shouldn't say kick off the tour, but you guys go back out on the road April 1st, and you guys. It looks like you guys are booked up all the way through the summer already. And,
yeah, definitely.
And so you guys are staying busy. You got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We want to congratulate you on that, Dax.
That's awesome.
I mean that's a testament to you too, my friend. I know. I hope you get to enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm not performing. I'm not being inducted, but I'm. Nonetheless, my family is. So.
Yeah.
And
your dad, right?
Yeah. I just got to know when you and Miles and your dad and everybody get around. Is it a musical thing at the Nielsen family when you guys all get together, or you guys are just like, no, I don't want no part of that?
Well, I don't know. Do you want like the fairy tale answer or the truth?
I want the truth.
No, there's no music played. We all play for a living, and we love doing it. But we have other siblings that don't play music, and the women in the family don't want to hear us rattle around on drums and guitars.
All right. Well, it has been an honor to have you on the show, Dax, and you're welcome back here anytime. And we wish you all the luck in the world in this new Cheap Trick album. Like I said. Jerry and I
think it's actually number 32 on the charts, on the any charts.
Wow.
Number 1 when I wake up tomorrow was number 1 on the classic rock charts last week, but this week it's 32 on the all charts.
That's awesome.
So
nice.
We're up there with they're on the band's on the charts again. It's pretty amazing.
Sweet.
It is, and we want to wish you guys all the luck in the world. We hope to catch you out on the road. And Daxx-Nielson, like I said, you're welcome back on Rock and Metal Revival anytime.
Bring me some Spotted Cow and I'll show up.
To catch the whole show of Rock and Metal Revival, all you have to do is check it out on these affiliates. Mega Rock Radio's on Saturdays from 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and on Uncontrolled Noise Tuesdays at 1 a.m., Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on UncontrolledNoise.com. And make sure that you leave them a message and tell them that you found Rock and Metal Revival on their stations. Enjoy this edition of Rock and Metal Revival.